days out of DC. My dad didn't make it, as many others didn't, and we actually walked in the door without exaggerating 7 minutes ago. So thank you for having us.
Greeks and politics. It started over 2,400 years ago with Aristotle, Plato, and Pericles. When this country was founded, not only did we look to ancient Greece when designing our government, but 6 of our founding fathers read, wrote, and spoke Greek.
When Papu came to DC in 1936 and was the first Greek American to work in the White House, and when Dad was in the Carter administration, there were not nearly as many Greek Americans in politics as there are today. Sorry, the script's a little bit different since my dad's not here. I'm trying to fill in. When Papu was in the Kennedy and then Johnson White House, the first native-born Greek American was elected to Congress. By the time Dad was in the Carter administration, there were several Greek Americans in the Congress. Although I'm proud to say that of the 535 senators and members at the time, only 3 were Rhodes Scholars, and 2 of them were Greek Americans, Paul Sarbanes and John Braddock's.
He wasn't Vice President. Wasn't Vice President Spiro Agnew Greek?
He was at one point until he got into trouble. And then we found out he was only part Greek, and it was the non-Greek part that got in trouble. My generation has seen an explosion of nationally known Greek Americans in politics. The Dukakis, then Tsongas presidential campaigns, a Clinton White House with a top advisor named Stephanopoulos, and all 3 of President Clinton's deputy chiefs of staff were Greek. And then there was the Bush White House, with the president's 3 top intelligence and security advisors being Greek. And who hasn't heard of Sarbanes-Oxley?
And my generation gets its news from the Huffington Post, and 3 of the top political blogs in the nation are run by Greek Americans. The youngest statewide office holder in the country is Chicago's own Alexi Giannoulias. And since my boss became Speaker of the House, 5 Greek Orthodox Christians have been elected to Congress. 2 of tonight's nominees, John Sarbanes and Zach Space, along with Gus Bilirakis, Dina Titus, and Nikki Tsongas. And in the U.S. Senate, we have Olympia Snowe. So unless someone figures out our plan, by 2075, the House will be 25% Greek American, and then maybe non-Hellenes will finally stop thinking that Lou Koumades was a Greek war hero.
But just as few knew that our founding fathers spoke Greek fluently, few know that some of the big names in politics today are Greek. The Congresswoman from Las Vegas, Nevada, Shelley Berkeley, Greek. Her family's from the Jewish community in Thessaloniki. Senator Ted Kennedy's wife, Vicky, Greek. Well, 3/16 of her is.
Well, what about Vice President Joe Biden?
Sure, it's been shortened from Bidenopoulos, Greek.
President Obama?
Greek, he's Cretan. Used to be Obamakis.
Well, what about Blagojevich? Is that Greek?
No, definitely not. However, the names of the nominees for the Politics Gabby Award are certainly Greek. Please hold your applause until all the names have been read. The nominees are
Alexi Giannoulias, Illinois State Treasurer and U.S. Senate candidate, the youngest statewide office holder in the country, and who recently launched the nation's largest state-funded rebate for hybrid vehicles.
Ariana Huffington, best-selling author of a dozen books and political commentator whose political blog, The Huffington Post, attracts over 100,000 unique visits monthly.
John Sarbanes, United States Congressman from Maryland, who's following in his father's footsteps by being a leader in education reform and energy and commerce in the House of Representatives.
Zach Space, United States Congressman from Ohio, whose commitment to public service stems from his immigrant grandparents from Icaria. He's come up with solutions to create jobs and generate an economic blueprint for the region in rural Ohio that he represents.
George Stephanopoulos. He kept himself busy during the election season, interviewing every major Republican and Democratic candidate during the primary election cycle. He's the chief Washington correspondent for ABC News and, of course, the anchor of This Week with George Stephanopoulos.
And the 2009 Politics Gabby Award goes to Illinois State Treasurer Alexi Giannoulias.